Welcome to Wikia's Expert Showcase. I'm Brandon Ray, Senior Community Manager at Wikia and the founder of Star Wars Fanpedia. We're here today with John Jackson Miller, the author of Star Wars: A New Dawn. So first of all, John, thank you for being here, and congratulations. A New Dawn was a great book.
Well, thanks a lot. I appreciate it. Glad to be here. It's been an exciting year. All sorts of things have been going on. And, of course, as we record this, I think just like 2 hours ago, they announced the title of the new Star Wars film. So The Force Awakens in 2015, looks like.
Yeah, and it's a lot like A New Dawn and bringing people, into this new wave. And A New Dawn, it's always going to have kind of a special place in Star Wars history because it's the first book of the new canon. And did you know going into it that it would be the first book?
No, in fact, the book was probably 2/3, 3/4 written by the time I found out about that. I did know that I wasn't going to have a lot of callbacks to earlier things because this was supposed to be a book that, as a prequel to the Rebels TV series, being targeted at new viewers. I was already going to be doing as few callbacks as possible. It wasn't like I had to change a whole lot. I already kind of try to treat every book as if it's the first one anybody will read in whatever universe it is. Here's the very, very basics that you need to know about the galaxy. Here's a reminder of who the Jedi are and who the Sith were and everything. Enough to let people who have at least seen the movies hit the ground running.
Yeah, one of the callbacks that I really enjoyed, because it was not something I ever really thought would be used in any stories, and it was the Jedi emergency beacon for episode 3. What was it about the beacon that made you want to feature it so prominently?
I'd been given a notion by Dave Filoni and the other executive producers of what the Obi-Wan message that Kanan would see in the animated series would be, but I did not have the exact dialogue for it yet. And so the way I decided to do it was to have Obi-Wan refer to the fact that the beacon would send out messages on multiple levels. It wasn't simply going to be, that sort of holographic message that you see in the video. I wanted to use that particular setup because it was something that everybody had seen in the movies, and by putting young Kanan in that setting, it really tied it up with episode 3 really well.
One of the things that we see, like we look at the Star Wars Del Rey Facebook account, Twitter accounts, is that there are still a lot of people who say, I'm not going to buy any of the new stuff until you give us more of the old stuff or until it's canon or anything like that. Kind of on that note, if you were to pitch to those fans, like why you should put that aside and buy A New Dawn, what would you say to them?
I think that a lot of people who have read the book say that it feels like it was written 5 years ago. It feels like it was written 10 years ago. It feels like it was written 20 years ago. It fits. There's nothing in the book that really contradicts anything to any great degree. The way that the books interact is a bonus. The key with any book, whether it's A New Dawn or Kenobi or one of the other books that we've got, is they all have to tell a story and stand alone, stand on their own, and they're written in that way. And the way that they interlock and the way that they connect with other stories can't be the only thing that's there. I got over in the garage over here. I got 50,000 comic books. I can't tell you whether even 10,000 of them are in continuity. None of my favorite Batman stories were ever in continuity. They were always in an alternate reality. It's entirely up to Lucasfilm, how they want to draw from these things in the future. If they were to decide to do something with the Kenobi story, the last thing I would want is for my book to prevent them from telling the best possible story that they could in a big feature film.
When the book first started talking about the mineral being mined on Cinda and how it was very important to the Empire, I was positive that it was leading towards having something to do with the Death Star. You did mention that the Emperor had a fixation on powerful weapons. Does that mining ultimately contribute to the Death Star in some way?
In this case, no. Tying it into the Death Star didn't add anything. And the reason that it didn't add anything was because we already know the Death Star gets built. If this particular mineral is not produced, then the Death Star can never happen. Well, then I can't wrap up the book the way that I did. Right. There's no chance of success for the heroes. It struck me that I might as well make it a statement about this is one of hundreds and thousands of different parts that go into making a single Star Destroyer. If they have to do this for one planet just to get this one compound, that tells you that they're willing to do anything to anybody and that they are doing anything to anybody. Every one of these little parts, every one of these widgets, it's a planet, it's a system, it's an entire species or a group of people that's being oppressed.
Thank you, John, for being here, and thanks everybody for watching.